be a sponge, and then bring the juice.
Hello and welcome back to The Edge of Greatness. I'm your host, Charles Schultz, and I'm excited to have you here today. It's a big show. We're going to talk a lot about fear, courage, what it takes to start to take action in our most uncomfortable situations. But first, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to head on over to ngbn.tv. I need you to check out the website. I also need you to, if you own a Fire TV, a Roku TV, an Android device, whether it be a cell phone or Google Play, and I need you to download the app. The NGBN app is now live. You can watch this show as well as, I want to say we're up close to 50 other shows on the network, on demand, every week, at your fingertips, and it's only going to grow and get better. So I need you guys to go and check that out. Some of the things that you might have missed if you haven't been watching already is we just came back from the Super Bowl. We were on Radio Row. We did 3 days of broadcasting from the Super Bowl with various Hall of Famers and celebrities and everything else. And by the last day, people were wanting to come to us. They're feeling the buzz, they're feeling the energy, and they know that this is a mission worth getting on board with. And that's an exciting thing to hear. The next big thing on the horizon for the NGBN network, for those of you who are sports fans, is the National Scouting Combine. That'll be coming up here soon. And then if you're not a sports fan, we're going to be broadcasting from a concert. I know it's coming up soon. I don't know when or where. I'll give you those details when I get them. But I know that those are some of the big things that are on the horizon for what we got going on. And it's, like I said, it's only going to get better. We've just locked down some other exciting news that I'm not allowed to share at this time, but we'll be getting it out to you soon. So you'll get to hear what it's all about, and you'll get to see what it's all about. But today, let's dive into what we're going to talk about. In this Behind the Pillars segment, we're going to dive into courage. In my experience with people, in my experience with coaching others, one of the most common reasons why people don't take action is fear. And on any great journey, on any big adventure, on anything that's forcing you out of your comfort zone, you're going to experience fear. It's going to be a part of your journey. We need to start to reevaluate how we respond to fear. We need to start to reevaluate what creates fear. And we need to start to reevaluate ourselves and our response to these moments. I believe we can learn to be courageous. That's why I made it a pillar. It's a skill. Nobody was born more courageous than somebody else. There are people who are, I guess, more inclined to take action in dangerous situations, but that's not the only type of courage. Sure, yes, courage in a fight, courage in a war, courage in a dangerous situation where somebody's life is at risk and your life is at risk, that is absolutely courage. But it takes courage to start a business. It takes courage to give a speech to a crowd of people you don't know or your peers. It takes courage to ask your boss for a raise. There are many types of courage. And while the heroic courage is the one that often gets the spotlight shined on it, it's the other courage that most often affects everyone's lives. The heroic courage doesn't happen very often. It doesn't present itself in your life very often. And in those moments, there's not a whole lot of time to think. It's just an action. And I'm not trying to diminish that, because we need that type of courage too. We need people who are ready to step up in a moment's notice. But there's also a need for us to see the dangers ahead and to act anyway. In today's world, fear is everywhere. Everyone I talk to has a fear of some kind or experiences fear. I mean, anyone listening to this show has had moments of fear. The first time you drove a car, the first time you were standing on the edge of the high dive, the first time you had to interview for the big job, or you were in the big game, giving a speech, talking in front of a crowd, pitching an idea to your boss, asking for a raise, doing an interview. The truth is that it is unavoidable. There are things in this world that are going to scare us, and that's okay. We need to start to recognize these things. We need to start to understand these things. We need to start to be comfortable with these things, and we need to learn to act anyway. I recently had a conversation with a coworker, and it was part of the reason why this episode is even happening is he was struggling with taking action in a moment because he believed he wasn't ready for that moment. This is another type of fear. He was struggling and suffering from imposter syndrome. And now this episode's not going to be all about imposter syndrome because there's a lot of talk about that these days. But I felt like it was important to mention this moment because we worked through the 3 questions that you're going to hear in the Coach's Corner section. And at the end of it, we worked through, why am I having this fear? What's the worst that can happen? What could I miss on? And when it happened that we went through these things, he decided to take action, and now he's working with this guy. I think that's important to understand that a lot of times we get a response to a situation in our mind that is surrounded by this what if. We're controlled by the what ifs. The what ifs are a dangerous thing, especially when those what ifs drift towards worst case scenarios. What if I fall? What if they laugh at me? What if my boss says no? What if I get fired? What if? You can what if yourself into all kinds of crazy scenarios. If you're somebody who always likes to lean into the what ifs, or the what ifs are stopping you and you don't like it, shift the what if. Shift it into something positive. What if I get a raise? What if I win the competition? What if I get recognized for my excellent work? I still don't like what ifs, but at least in this way, we start to shift it into something more positive. We're not what ifing into the negative moment. Ultimately, I believe we need to eliminate the what ifs. But I don't think that happens immediately. It happens over time. It's something we have to work towards. And so what I'm going to do is we're going to take a little break here, but when we come back in the Coach's Corner, I'm going to talk to you more about fear. I'm going to talk to you about what it is. I'm going to talk to you about why we experience it. And then I'm also going to dive into how do we start to overcome it? How do we start to learn how to be better with it? So stick around. You're not going to want to miss that. And we'll be right back after these commercial breaks.
You're watching the exclusive sneak peek of NGBN TV. Like never before, streaming content for men is now available, with more to come. Join us on this journey as we introduce you to content creators and shows that are here to inspire, educate, entertain, celebrate, and support men in their 40s, 50s, and 60s. We can't do this without you, so please enjoy this sneak peek, but also share it with your friends and family, and help us connect with companies, organizations, brands, or nonprofits who align with our mission to save men's lives. This is the NGBN TV Sneak Peek.
Hey, it's AC of AC Sports Live, an interactive sports talk show where your comments are part of the show. Every show we focus on the sports stories of today, with commentary on sports takes, my 2 cents, which is a reaction to my social media feed, Sports Flicks, where we take a look at sports movies and give a quick review. We have a segment called Mental Reps, where we have words of inspiration to help battle the dark side of men's mental health. And then there's the Tender Love Report. Who's being soft or petty in the world of sports? Streaming live on the NGBN TV network, Roku, Amazon Fire, and other social media platforms. All takes are welcome under one condition: say it with your chest. I'll see you there.
Hello and welcome back to The Edge of Greatness. If you are somebody who is liking that apparel that you just saw on the screen and you want to get some for yourself, head over to ngbn.tv, use promo code EDGE10 to save yourself 10% at checkout, and proceeds go to the show. Help us keep doing what we're doing, help us bring you free content, and get you some cool swag to go along with it. So check it out, ngbn.tv, head over to the store section, use promo code EDGE10 at checkout. Now today, the Coach's Corner, this is again my favorite section. I love the Coach's Corner. We are going to dive into courage, fear, how to get better at it. So let's go. First things up, what is fear? Why do we experience fear? What is it? Well, fear is a psychological response that we have that's wired in our body to danger. It's a psychological response to danger. Now, is that danger a physical danger or an emotional danger? A psychological danger? That is the challenge. We need to figure out what that is, because when we start to dissect what the danger is, it triggers our fight or flight response. And in most cases, what we see here is this is how it happens. This is how it works. When we are experiencing a moment of fear, if we think we can defeat or beat the fear, we're bigger than the fear, we'll attack it. Everything else we run. But the problem becomes that in today's day and age, we tend to look at fears and look at these moments and look at this thing in front of us, and we make it bigger than it is. It expands on us. It becomes this huge problem when actually it was just a tiny obstacle. We have a tendency to make our problems bigger than they are, to make the dangers bigger than they are, to create moments that are scarier than they actually are. There's an interesting thing I heard recently. I forget who said it. I want to say it was Mel Robbins, but I could be wrong, so don't hold me to that. But they were talking about how fear and excitement are the same emotional responses in our body. Like the way our body responds, fear and excitement are the same. If you think about it, you start to have a moment where maybe your hands get a little sweaty, your heart rate picks up, your respiration picks up, you're a little more alert, you're attentive. You start to feel that nervous energy and that blood flow. And the same is true when it's something that you want to be doing, that you're excited about. The difference is up here. The difference is in our mind. One situation, we get that feeling and we think danger. And we get nervous. And we start to think about the future. And we get anxious. And we start to do the what ifs, and we start to play these games, and all of a sudden we get tight and we get nervous and we stop wanting to go forward. In the other situation, we get that same feeling, but we get excited. We're like, yes, I can't wait, let's go. My energy's getting good. And you step into that moment. And it's interesting to me because if you think about it this way, if you like roller coasters, if you don't like roller coasters, this isn't going to work for you. On the way up, you're getting excited, right? Actually, this is actually perfect, because if you don't like roller coasters, on the way up, you're getting nervous. But those same emotions are happening no matter who you are. You're on the way up. You're slowly coming over the top. And the one person who's excited starts getting really ready to go. And the other person who's nervous starts to feel like this is a bad idea. And we're over the cliff. If you can start to look at those moments where that feeling starts to hit and turn it into an excitement, the joy and the ability to attack that moment improves. The person on that roller coaster who's excited about the top is going to have a whole lot more fun than the person who's nervous about the top, who's scared of the top, who doesn't really like roller coasters, but her friend made her go and now it's just all bad, right? We can control a lot of the situations we find ourselves in, especially the ones where it's a fear of a moment and not a fear of like a lion. Like that's obviously something we should be, let's run, let's get out of here. I don't want to fight a lion. But on the other hand, I do want to give a speech. I do want to step up and talk to my boss. I do want those moments to happen. And so we need to start to be able to take our anxiety, take our fear, and push ourselves into these uncomfortable places. Because there's an interesting thing about fear. It doesn't exist in the moment. It doesn't exist right now. Fear is a result of our mind telling us a story about something that might happen in the future, or turning to the past and thinking about those moments, and it creates a sensation of fear. The action we're taking in this very moment, there is no fear. It doesn't exist. When you're moving, when you're doing things, when you're in that moment, the fear is not there. It is living on the edges of it. So if we can find a way to be in our moments, if we can find a way to be present and attack the situation ahead of us, and not look to what might happen and create anxiety, or look to the past and get stuck in the mistakes, we can do a lot more things. So I guess the next question becomes, how do we become more courageous? How do we become more in the moment? How do we start to take more action? And so what I've learned and what I've found is the first thing is we have to learn to accept fear. Fear is always going to be there. You're always going to have moments of fear. It's not something that we can just eliminate, erase, and disappear from. That's just not how it works. But we can learn to talk to our fear. We can learn to walk with our fear. We can learn to become comfortable and connected to our fear. We don't have to be controlled by it. We can listen to it because it's there for a reason. We have this psychological response to keep us alive. Back when our caveman ancestors were roaming the world and everything was out to kill them, that fear response was how you survived. You stepped out of your cave and you said, okay, that's dangerous. Don't go that way. I heard something. What was that? Okay, this doesn't feel right. I'm going to run. And you survived because literally everything was trying to kill you. That's not the case anymore today. We're not in that type of world or environment anymore. Most things in today's world aren't trying to kill us. And we give fear to things that typically don't deserve it. Now, there's going to be times, where we're in a situation and fear is warranted. But we need to learn how to recognize those situations and then to take actions in the ones that don't necessarily cause us harm. So let's walk through this here. 3 questions. This is how I approach moments of potential fear, moments that are big moments for me. The first is when I start to feel that energy. I look at the moment and I go, is this a physical danger or is this emotional danger? What kind of fear is this? What experience am I about to have? Am I in a situation where I could potentially hurt myself? Or am I in a situation where I need my brain to turn off because I'm afraid I might get embarrassed, or I might get laughed at, or I might get whatever, and my mind is telling me that, they're all going to laugh at you like the old Adam Sandler skit. That's an important situation, an important understanding of the moment. We need to dissect these two things. Second is, what's the worst case scenario? What's the worst that can happen if I choose to do this thing? Now, if I end up like the bug here on the left, no, I don't want to die. So if it's a situation that can kill me, there's a very good chance I'm going to be avoiding it. I've got things I don't really want to miss. Now, if it's like the picture on the right and I'm just going to be embarrassed and stuck in the box of shame, okay, I need to evaluate why I feel this way. What's uncomfortable about this situation? And those types of fears, those differences, and those different outcomes, those different worst case scenario outcomes. Because again, odds are, even in the worst case scenario outcome, you're going to be fine. But for me, that's something that I weigh heavily. There's a reason why I'm not jumping out of a perfectly good airplane. I'm not doing it. The joy of the fall and the rush and all the things that people talk about, it's not worth it if the chute doesn't open. And that for me is enough. Even though those odds are very small, the chance of death is going to stop me. Now, I'll do a roller coaster and I'll do some other things to get me that rush. And there's certain things that I will risk and do that have, worst case scenario of similarities, but I think the percentage is lower in my mind anyway. And again, this is that balance we have to play. And this is that mental gymnastics you're going to have to get good at. The final part is, what opportunity could I miss if I choose to run? And I think this is a powerful one, because in my example before of skydiving, I miss a little joy with a potential chance of death. Maybe I miss a lot of joy, but I can find joy somewhere else. I can find excitement somewhere else. I can find those things in other places. But let's say my fear is a psychological one, and it's giving a speech to a group. And it's a big group. It's a group bigger than I've ever given a speech to. And I'm terrified that I'm going to mess up and they're never going to want me to come back. That fear, if I pass on that moment, I could miss a whole lot of other moments. It could lead me to a place where I'm not giving any speeches anymore. It could lead me to a place where nobody listens to my educational pieces. I lose influence. I don't have, I might miss out on an opportunity that leads me to my biggest opportunity yet by giving this speech. And so that fear in that moment is worth stepping into. So as you continue to work through, when you feel those moments of fear, when you feel those things start to creep in, I want you to ask these questions. What kind of fear is this? What's the worst case scenario? What might happen, or what might I miss if I choose to run from this moment? When you get to that point, I think you'll start to find that you can understand when and where to take action. So we're going to take a quick commercial break here, but before we go, I want to thank my sponsor, Go Primal Fitness and Apparel. They are fitness and apparel wear for the mindset to be the best for those who need you the most. Use promo code BEGREAT at checkout for 10% off, and go check them out. Go Primal Lifestyle and Fitness Apparel. Check them out. I think you'll like them, and we'll be right back after these commercial breaks.
Hey, I'm Micah McCreary.
And I'm Rich Fry, and welcome to Truex Outdoors,
The ultimate outdoor show.
So come tag along with us as we experience thrilling adventures in hunting and fishing.
From the mountains to the rivers, we'll bring you the most action-packed outdoor experiences.
Watch us now on NGBN TV.
Truex Outdoors.
Hey NGBN, it's Brian Jonas with Pick Up the Six Productions. Join us here at Pick Up the Six as we introduce you to the men and women among us who go above and beyond through service, purpose, and impact. Whether it's travel in the United States or right here from our studios, we can't wait to pick up the six with you.
Welcome to Tripping Through Transformation. I'm your host, Guillaume Poirier, and I'm inviting you on a journey that will expand your outlook on life. Join me as we delve into the realms of mental health, resilience, personal growth, community, and alternative healing. Through personal narratives and expert insights, we'll explore the transformative power of shared stories. Get ready to escape from narrow perceptions and dive into a world of diverse perspectives. Tripping Through Transformation is where stories become pathways to empowerment.
Hello and welcome back. Final segment for today. As we begin to wind down, I want to do a quick rundown of a world of greatness and my guest from last week's conversation. So if you haven't had a chance yet, head over to the NGBN.TV app or website, look in the archives, watch last week's episode. It's a conversation with Toby Emmons-Holly. I have trouble with that last name. I keep messing that up. But Toby is a great man, CEO, father of 6, hybrid athlete, and just does some incredible adventure style feats of athleticism. And the most recent one, and the reason why I kind of brought him in, was he did the 4x4x48 Goggins challenge. And for those of you who don't know what that is, it's 4 miles running every 4 hours for 48 straight hours. So it doesn't matter what time of day it is, you're doing every 4 hours, you're getting up and you're going for a run and you're getting 4 miles in. Now he won up the challenge and he decided to do the 4x4x96 for a 100-mile challenge. So instead of doing 48 miles over 48 hours, he did 100 miles over 96 hours. And it was just an incredible conversation. He's done some incredible things. And when you think about the pursuit of excellence and the pursuit of greatness, a lot of it comes down to we often make excuses for things, for why we can't do something, why that's too hard, why this isn't the right time, why we shouldn't take action now. Toby is a busy man, CEO, father of 6, and he showed that even during his run where he had to adjust some things. So he did some things within the run to still hit his numbers within the time frame, but he'd move it around where he ran his 4 miles, took a little break so he could go to his kids', I want to say it was some type of event, maybe it was a recital or something like that, and then did his family fatherly duties, and then did his next 4 miles. So he had to adjust some things, but it all fit within that 4 mile, 4 hour thing. But he opened up a window in a block and he adjusted his schedule to be present as a father and still getting 100 miles in. We can all do that. We are capable of incredible things. We are capable of doing the hard stuff in our lives. What happens most often is we find a reason why not to, because life is hard right now. We're busy. We're working on things. And I get that. I feel that. I do. My life is busy as well. And there are times where I don't want to do certain things. But if we start to lean into doing more of these hard things and we make priorities around the pursuit of greatness, more of us can do things like Toby did. As I say goodbye today, I want to say thank you. Thank you for paying attention to this show. Thank you for tuning in. I greatly appreciate it. If you are somebody who knows someone in a world of greatness that would be perfect for the segment that we just went through, please let me know who they are. I'd like to connect with them. I'd love to get them on the show. If you are a decision maker, a business owner, or somebody within a business marketing department, and you're looking for places to spread the word of what you do, we have opportunities here within the show and on the network to share your product, share your service, share what you do. Connect with me at charles@theedgeofgreatnessproject.com and let me know how we can help, how we can work together to get the word out about what you do and who you are. In the meantime, I hope you guys decide to connect with me. I'm available on all my social media apps and platforms, and DMs are open. And I'm so thankful that you've decided to join me for this half hour, and I'm looking forward to bringing more and more high quality content to you in the future. But until then, guys, keep reaching for the stars. Fall flat on your face. But remember, whenever we fall, Always get up.